Shalom. Let's give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakudash. That will be giving our praises to the Most High, whose true name in ancient Hebrew is Yahweh. In the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. And the Holy Spirit, which in Hebrew is Wakakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, by the Holy Spirit, who taught us His truth. Honors to the brothers, risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Peace and blessings to the elect, to be so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel, according to Scripture and according to prophecy. But the elect will be 1/3 of the Israelites, who will return back to the Most High during the last days, which is right now, to receive salvation. While the 2/3 of Israel who don't turn back to the Most High be destroyed in judgment. We back with the wisdom of David, number 59. Wisdom of David meaning we coming out the book of Psalms, chapter 59. Hey, because Psalms, David was writing what was going on in his life back then, but he's also writing what he will go through and what his people will go through in the future at the end, which is right now. Hey, so Psalms, like the rest of the Bible, is all prophecy. But we're gonna start here at the very, very top of Psalms 59. To the chief musician, a Psalm of David, or a prophecy of David, when Saul sent and they watched the house to kill him. So when David was running from Saul. So this psalm was written, hey, when David was running from Saul, Saul sent men to David's house. So we're gonna start kind of from where we left last time. We ended with verse 10, but I'm gonna start at verse 10 again. And then we're gonna take it another direction. Hey, the God of my mercy shall prevent me. God shall let me see my desire upon my enemies. So the house of David, the elect, the true worshipers of Yahweh, they will feel a certain type of way towards their enemies. And what did David say? I'm going to see my desire upon my enemies. All of David's enemies failed back when David was in the earth. Guess what? David is back today, as well as the house of David, which includes all of the service to prophets. They back today to see their desire on their enemies once again, which that would be the downfall of our enemies, which would be the other nations, beginning with Esau, Edom, the white man, and the 2/3 of the house of Israel, because they're enemy to the nation of Israel right now. But again, God shall let me see my desire upon my enemies. And when we jump here, the Psalm chapter 41, verse 5. My enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish? Hey, so David asked the question, when are my enemies going to die? and David saw the death of all of his enemies. Well, David is back today, as well as the service to prophets, to witness the death of our enemies once again. But we gonna jump to Psalms 59 and 10 again. Then that's gonna take that into verse 11. The God of my mercy shall prevent me. God shall let me see my desire upon my enemies. And our desire would be the downfall of our enemies. Hey, but this is the point here in verse 11. Slay them not, lest my people forget. Scatter them by thy power and bring them down, O Lord, our shield. And so David said, we're going to see our desires upon our enemies. Hey, but right after in verse 11, it said, but slay them not. See, when David saw the downfall of his enemies, the enemies of David, they died so that David could put them in subjection. So the Lord is going to kill our enemies, but he's not going to completely erase them off the face of the earth. The Lord going to kill our enemies to the point they no longer had a power, you know, he's going to kill our enemies to the point. He's going to kill our enemies to the point that they no longer rule, as a kingdom, as an empire here in the earth. So yeah, the Lord going to kill a majority of the nations, but he's going to leave a remnant of each nation so that we can put them in subjection. So that's why Psalm 59:10, it said we're going to see our desire upon our enemies, meaning the downfall, meaning the Lord is going to put to death the majority of our enemies to the point that they no longer can be a threat. To the point, if they wish to survive, they had no choice but to fall in line and be in subjection to the Lord's people under Yahweh Shah. So verse 11, slay them not. So again, the Lord's going to kill a majority of the earth, but he's going to leave a remnant. Hey. Oh, I know how it be. I just got started, so I'm here for another hour. So hour and a half, just however long it takes to get through it. Okay, bet. Yes, Bill, take care. Psalm 59:10, slay them not, lest my people forget. Now that's another thing too. The Lord is not going to just completely erase Esau and the other nations off the face of the earth, because two of our people going to be destroyed in the midst of that too. But again, it says, slay them not, meaning the Lord's going to leave a remnant, so lest my people forget. So the Lord will leave a remnant of the nations, as a constant reminder to our people to keep that fear in the earth. And we're gonna get this real quick. This is the book of Judges. And the Lord even did that back then as we went into the promised land. The Lord left the remnant of the nations. He left some of the nations. And we're going to show why. Judges 3:1. Now these are the nations which the Lord had left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel has not known all the wars of Canaan. So the Lord left some of the nations, to test Israel. But, in the kingdom, the testing phase is going to be over because he's going to be made perfect. But again, it said, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan, only that the generation of the children of Israel might know to teach them war. At the least, such as before knew nothing thereof. So Psalm 59:11, slay them not, lest my people forget. So the Lord going to leave a remnant of the nations to go into captivity, to be our servants in the kingdom, but it will be a constant reminder of what the Lord would do to those who rise up against him. So our people, 2/3 of our people that die on this side, they're going to be born in the kingdom, and they're going to see Esau eating the white man in the harsh captivity. They're going to see the other nations in captivity. And that's going to be a reminder that those were the people who rebelled against the Lord. To keep the fear of the Lord in the earth. So that's why David says, slay them not, lest my people forget. So again, the nations being in captivity in the kingdom of heaven, there's going to be a constant reminder of what happened to those who rebelled against Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. To keep the fear of the Lord in the earth. It says, scatter them by thy power and bring them down, O Lord, our shield. So the Lord's going to scatter the nations. And that's what the Lord did back during the time of the Tower of Babel. He scattered the nations by confounding the language. Well, when really bigger picture, when he confounded the language of the nations, the people in the earth in the Tower of Babel, they could no longer work together in that rebellion against the Most High. Now we're gonna get this. We're gonna look at this word scatter in the Hebrew. So scatter, it says to reel, to stagger, to sift, to make move, to tremble, to shake, to disturb. And what the scriptures say, that the heavens shall be shaken. Meaning the other nations that got rulership and kingdoms under Esau's empire, they're going to be shaken. Meaning what? No longer in power. No longer working together in that rebellion, rising up against the Lord and rising up against his people. So back to Psalm 59 and 11, hey, slay them not, lest my people forget. So the Lord going to leave a remnant of the nations as a constant reminder to future generations of Israel, as a reminder what happened to those who rebelled against the Most High. And it's going to be a reminder to the other nations as well, because future generations of the other nations will be born into the kingdom having no memory or no knowledge of the here and now. But they're going to be born in subjection, and they're going to wonder, why are we in subjection? And we're going to tell them because some time ago, they rebelled against the Most High and rose up against his people. And that's going to even be a reminder for Israel. Like, this is what the Lord did for us. He raised us up and put our enemies who tried to cut us off, put them in subjection. So it's going to be a constant reminder of the Lord's fury on the nations, but the Lord's mercy on his people Israel. Slay them not, lest my people forget, scatter them by thy power. Meaning what? The kingdom of heaven going to be shaken. Meaning what? They going to no longer be in power. It says, bring them down, O Lord, our shield. Because that's the whole point, is the Lord is going to bring down our enemies. He's not going to completely erase Esau, the white man, off the face of the earth. Not yet. He's not going to completely erase the other nations. That's why when people hear salvation is only for Israel, they get offended. They think the other nations going to be no more. No. Psalm 59 and 11, it says, slay them not. Why? Because we need service for the kingdom. So there's plenty of reasons why the other nations, plenty of reasons why we need the other nations around. And it's all for the Lord's purpose. We also gonna get this. Because again, the end of Psalm 59 and 11, it says, scatter them by thy power. In other words, bring them down, O Lord, our shield. So you saw even the white men, the other nations, they about to be brought down. Meaning what? Brought down out of power. That's why when we get this, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1, it say this, come down and sit in the dust. See that? Come down. What did David say? Psalm 59 and 11, slay them not, lest my people forget. Scatter them by thy power and bring them down, O Lord, our shield. So don't eradicate them off the face of the earth. Just bring our enemies down. Back to Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust. Come down, meaning they was once in power. They was once in a high place. But come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. There is no throne. See that? They're no longer in power. They're no longer in that high place. But what? Sit on the ground, meaning they in servitude. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. And this is directed at the virgin daughter of Babylon, not ancient Babylon. The daughter represents the future. So there will be another Babylon in the future, which is America. So come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Hey, but Babylon, America, is just a place. So it's a bunch of people in America. So who would this be directed at? So when we come to the book, Psalms chapter 137, verse 7, it say this, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. See, the Lord said, remember what the children of Edom did. But that's why David says, Psalm 59 and 11, hey, slay them not, lest my people forget. So, seeing the Edomite in captivity in the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be a reminder that it was Esau, even the white man, who tried to cut us off. So, yeah. So, we're going to remember the children of Edom, even in the kingdom. And what's going to be that reminder? Hey, them in captivity. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed. So it goes on speaking about, the daughter of Edom, the children of Edom, then it mentions the daughter of Babylon. Hey, the Lord is not jumping around right there. It's talking about a place in the people. The place would be America, daughter of Babylon. The people would be the children of Edom, who are to be destroyed. Happy shall he be, thy reward of thee, as thou hast served us. Destroyed meaning, a good majority of them going to be killed off, but the Lord going to leave a remnant so that they go into captivity. And then they will replenish, repopulate, but in captivity, in slavery. And that's why when we come here to the book of Revelation 13 and 10, it say this: he who leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So when David said, Psalm 59 and 10, the Lord shall let me see my desire upon my enemies, and this will be the desire of the saints, that the enemy be killed with the sword, that the enemy go into captivity. That's what's going to happen. A majority of Esau, even the white man and other nations, about to be killed with the sword, for spilling our blood, for so many years. And then who's ever left, they going into captivity. And what it say, that's the patience and the faith of the saints. That's a desire of the house of David. And Yahweh, really the whole host of heaven. That's our desire. But that's why David said, Psalm 59 and 11, scatter them by thy power and bring them down. So they're going to be brought low. They're going to be low in number. They're going to be in a low place. That's captivity. And in that place of captivity, they start to repopulate. Only as servants under the Israelites. This is Psalm 59 and 12. I'm going to hit 11 again if you're going to take that into verse 12. Slay them not, lest my people forget. Scatter them by thy power and bring them down. O Lord, our shield. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride, and for cursing and lying which they speak. And we know that more than anybody, this lines up with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It said for the sin of their mouth. So constantly Esau, the white man, is sinning with his lips, speaking blasphemy, speaking against the Most High and against his people out of the pride of his heart. So the scriptures say, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee. Speaking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And it says for cursing and lying, which they speak. Everything they speak is a lie. Everything you learned in school, outside of the basic of mathematics, damn near a lie. And like the basics of science, everything is a lie. Evolution, genetics, astrology, or is it astronomy? Everything is a lie that these devils have taught us. And we're going to show a few examples. So if we're going to read 12 again, then we're going to show a few examples. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride. And for cursing and lying, which they speak. So we're going to go here to the book of Ezekiel 35, and we're going to get verse 2. See who was directed at. A son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, prophesy against it. And who is Mount Seir? When you read Genesis 36 and 8, Mount Seir is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, back then and today. Well, what does scripture say? Set thy face against Mount Seir. And then when we continue down to see what the Lord is going to, what charges the Lord is going to put on them, we're going to get 12 and 13 concerning Esau, Edom, Mount Seir. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord. and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. So saying what? We desolate, we destroyed, we forsaken. Ain't nobody's gonna help us. So they can do what they want with us. They can experiment on us, they can eat us, they can RAPE us, they can exterminate us off the face of the earth. That's Psalms 83. To cut off the nation of Israel, that Israel be no more remembrance. But see, I heard all the blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountain of Israel, saying they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus, thus with your mouth you have boasted against me. In the NLT, it says, in saying that, you boasted proudly against me. Because when you speak against the Lord's people, and you speaking against him. And because we're the sons of the Most High. It says, and have multiplied your words against me, I have heard them. So Esau, have constantly spoken against the Lord's people and really spoken against the Most High. The Lord said, you proudly speak against me. And the Lord said he heard them. But that's why, again, Psalm 59 and 12, for the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride. And then you got what? Well, we're gonna get another example. We're gonna come back to the book of Isaiah chapter 47. Because not only do they speak against the Lord's people, and they speak against the Most High. Isaiah 47 and 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. They trusted in their sword, their science and technology, deception, lying. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none see of me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee. How has thy wisdom and knowledge perverted them? Obadiah tell you, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. So yeah, thy wisdom and knowledge have perverted thee, meaning they've been deceived by their own pride. It says, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am. And the Lord is known for saying that in the book of Exodus. When Moses said, who should I tell sent me? Or in the English is translated to tell Moses, tell them that I am sent you. And really, in the Hebrew, he said his name Yahweh. And then in Deuteronomy 32:39, it says, see now that even I am he. And there is no God with me. I kill, heal, wound, curse, and make alive. Roughly paraphrasing. But the Lord said, I am, and no other God with me. Meaning he's the Almighty, he's the all-powerful. Nobody above him. Nobody is his equal. But when Esau, the white man, say in his heart, thou hast said in thy heart, I am and none beside me. So that's a direct challenge to Yahweh Shah. Therefore, evil shall come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So destruction gonna come upon them, they're not gonna be able to put it off. That's why Psalm 59 and 12, it says, for the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them be taken in their own pride. And then you got Isaiah 14 and 14. When it says, I will be like the Most High, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Hey, that's a direct challenge and a direct threat against Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Even to the point, they're going to start a war when Yahweh Shai return. Hey, they're going to shoot at him first. Hey, that's how pride they are. That's why it says, thy wisdom and knowledge have perverted thee. They think they can go to war with the Creator. And that's what they dream about. That's why they always make these UFO alien invasion movies like War of the Worlds, other UFO movies, and they fight against the invaders of Earth, and somehow they always win. Hey, that's really what they imagine against the Most High, that they're going to overthrow him at his return. And now I'm going to get this in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 6. Wisdom of Solomon? Yeah. It says, for wisdom is a loving spirit, and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words. A, for the Most High is witness of his reigns, and a true beholder of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue. For the Spirit of the Lord filleth the world, and that which containeth all things hath knowledge of the voice. A, therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid. Hey, when you speak against the Most High, when you speak against his people, you make yourself a target. You can't hide from that. Hey, the scriptures say, he who made the eye, can he not see? He who planted the ear, can he not hear? Because Isaiah 47:10, what it say? None seeth me. That's how Esau feels. That's why he tried to do stuff in secret. He called it fighting terrorism. He called it public health. Because of public health, he want to give everybody the JAB, but he's targeting our community with it. They would have called it, birth control. But they really trying to cut off Israel. That's them doing stuff in secret. Hey, but the Most High, he knows the heart. So again, therefore, he that speaketh of unrighteous things cannot be hid. Hey, neither shall vengeance when the punisher pass by. Hey, so when the Lord come bringing the vengeance, hey, Esau eating the white man, it's not going to be exempt from that judgment. Really, only the elect, which would be the house of David. Now this is Psalm 59:13. It says consume them in wrath. Consume them, that they may not be. Let them know that God ruleth in Jacob unto the ends of the earth. So, David wrote this when he was running from Saul. And Saul, the whole house of Saul, and whatever servants was rising up against David, hey, they all got killed. So they got consumed in the Lord's wrath. Hey, but who did even worse than Saul? In this generation, Esau Edom the white man. Hey, Esau Edom the white man got at our people. This is the third time. First under the Greeks, and then under the Romans, and then now. This eighth beast. America. And then before that, and in between, Esau Edom was always against us, helping the other nations take us down. Hey, but what it say? Consume them in thy wrath, that they may not be. It says, let them know that God ruleth in Jacob upon the ends of the earth. So what? Ends of the earth, that's in reference to a time and a location. Hey, we in the last days. The Lord is about to show that he ruleth in the kingdom of man. As far as location, the ends of the earth is America. So America about to find out, is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai that ruleth in the earth. You see, he saw the white man. In his pride, he think he got the earth on lock. No, America, he saw even the white man. Everybody here, 2025, they about to find out Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai who live in the earth. That's why the Lord constantly say that they should know that the Lord have done it. So we're going to read verse 13 again, then we're going to jump to the book of Job, chapter 20. Psalm 59:13, consume them in the wrath, consume them, that they may not be. Let them know that God ruleth in Jacob unto the ends of the earth. Hey, so the Lord ain't slack, the Lord ain't sleep. People think the Lord don't care no more. No, the Lord is still rooted in the earth. So this is Job 20 and 23. You know, how is the Lord going to consume the enemy in his wrath today? It says when he is about to fill his belly. The belly represents the mind. So when he's about to fulfill the desires of his mind. And who would that be? You saw even the so-called white man. He got all kind of desires and agendas that he want to fulfill right now. Agenda 2025, Agenda 2030, the New World Order, cashless digital society. So when he's about to fill his belly, meaning his heart's desire, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Hey, that's a metaphor and it's literal. Because it says, it shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So the Lord is going to cast the fury of his wrath, is going to come as a strange form of rain. What he do in Sodom and Gomorrah? The Lord cast the fury of his wrath as a form of rain. He rained fire and brimstone. In the time of Noah, he did what? He cast the fury of his wrath in the form of rain. And it was rain and water that led to the flood. The Lord gonna cast the fury of his wrath again in the form of rain. But what the rain gonna be? This is the next verse. He shall flee from the iron weapon. Hey, the bow of steel shall strike him through. What's that iron weapon? It's a nuclear missile. What's the bow of steel? It's a nuclear missile. Bow is a metaphor and a representation for nuclear missiles. Beat it all the way through. Hey, when God is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. It shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So it's going to rain bows of steel. It's going to rain iron weapons in America. The Lord going to rain nuclear missiles on America. Verse 25. It is drawn, it cometh out of the body. That's them nuclear silos. They're going to come out the earth. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. That glittering sword. That's that nuclear missile. It's going to be glittering and flaming through the sky. It says, all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. So the Lord going to cast the fury of his wrath in the form of this iron bow that's going to rain throughout the earth, and it's going to consume the wicked. Beginning with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, a fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. So that's how they're going to be consumed. Psalm 59:13, consume them in wrath. And that's going to be by the iron weapon. The Lord is going to rain his anger upon the nations. And that's why when we come here, hey, to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, we're going to get 16 and 16. It says, for the ungodly that denied to know thee. That's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. But guess what? The 2/3 of the nation of Israel that denied the Lord when the word is going out. For the ungodly that denied to know thee were scourged by the strength of thine arm. That's Yahweh stop. With strange rains, hails, and showers were they persecuted. Why is it strange rain? Because this is not traditional rain that bring water. No, this is a strange form of rain that's going to bring a consuming fire. So with strange rains, hails, and showers, hey, it's going to be strange showers. Were they persecuted that they could not avoid, and through fire were they consumed. So that's a strange rain. Something falling from the sky as a form of rain, but it's bringing fire. And that's why you're going to get the lake of fire. So continuing on, back to Psalm 59 and 13, it says, consume them in thy wrath, consume them that they may not be. It says that they may not be. So that they may not be. Let's get that in NLT real quick. So it says, destroy them in your anger, wipe them out completely. So Esau, Edom, the wicked, the other nations, they're not going to be completely wiped off the face of the earth. Because again, when you go up to verse 11, it says, slay them not, lest my people forget. But it says what? Bring them down. But when you get, again, Psalms 59 and 13, consume them in wrath, consume them that they may not be. So what does that mean, that they may not be? Well, we're going to come here to the book of Obadiah. We're going to get one. And I think verse 15. Obadiah 1 and 15. Okay, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, the day of wrath. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. And they try to cut us off, the Lord is going to cut them off. But a remnant of all nations will be left to be servants in the kingdom. It says, thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. It says, yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be, they shall be as though they had not been. That's the point. The heathen nations, beginning with Esau, even the white man, they shall be as they had not been. Psalm 59:13, consume them in wrath, consume them that they may not be. So meaning what? What the Lord do to them, it's going to be like they never been in power. It's going to be like they never ruled in the earth. Because the Lord going to kill so many of them. And then 2 Peter 3 and 10 tell you that the elements going to melt with fervent heat. You know, to burn up the works here in the earth. So it's not going to be any remembrance, any monument of Esau, Edom, and the other nations. Ain't going to be no World Trade Center. Ain't going to be no Ground Zero. Ain't going to be no jet fighters. Ain't going to be no nuclear missiles or no silos. But what did verse 16 say? For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. And what's that? That's the nations prospering off the blood, sweat, and tears of our people. And all the nations has benefited off the oppression of the Lord's people. That's why it says, so shall all the heathen drink continually. It says, yeah, they shall drink, they shall swallow down, they shall be as though they had not been. So yeah, they're going to be completely destroyed, ain't no more empowered. Ain't no more ruling over us. Yeah, it's going to be like they never been in power. That's why it says, they shall be as though they had not been. So right now, you know, they have kingdoms and power in the earth. After that nuclear destruction, hey, they're going to have no power, ain't no place in the earth. You know, as a kingdom. The only way the heathen nations, beginning with Esau, Edom, and the white man, is going to have a place in the earth is in our kingdom as servants. There's not going to be a China, or what they call it, the China Communist Party. There's not going to be a Soviet Union. There's not going to be a European Union. A remnant of them people going to be here, but they're not going to have any power, any authority in the earth. They're going to simply be here and exist as servants. Psalm 59:14 through 15. In that evening, let them return. Let them make a noise like a dog and go round about the city. Let them wander up and down for me and grudge if they be not satisfied. But beginning with verse 14, it says, let them return that evening. And we're going to go back to that account. And because David wrote this when Saul sent messengers to David's house to kill him. So we're going to go back to that account because that's really kind of a repeat of verse 6. Let's get verse 6. They return that evening, they make a noise like a dog and go around about the city. So David was speaking about how Saul's servants, go all over the place trying to hunt him down. And they return that evening. Because it's one account, David slipped away from Saul that night. That very same night, Saul sent servants to go hunt down David that same night. That's why David said in verse 6, they returned that evening. And that's why he said 14, in that evening, let them return. But we're going to get that account. Hey, this is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 19. Hey, we're going to get 10 through 12. 1 Samuel 19, 10 through 12. We're going to see why David said they returned that evening in verse 6. But in verse 14, he's going to say, let them return that evening again. It says, and Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence. And he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. So, that night, David escaped from Saul. It says Saul also sent messengers unto David's house that very same night to watch him and to slay him in the morning. So that same night, Saul sent messengers to David's house to kill him in the morning. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, if thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. So she told David, David, if you don't flee tonight, you're going to be gone in the morning. So Saul, got on David that same night. Goes on to say, so Michal let David down through the window, and he went and fled and escaped. Because if he didn't, he was going to be gone. But that's why Psalm 59:6, they say, they returned that evening. And we look at that word evening, it pretty much means that night. It says, David escaped Saul that night. Then that same night he sent servants. So David said they returned that evening. But jumping forward to verse 14, it says, in that evening, let them return. So at evening, let them return, meaning what? Esau gonna come. And it just so happened Esau want to come when there's a blackout, when there's a cyber attack, when internet, when communications and transportation is down. It's like being in the night, because nothing is up and running. But that's why David said, and let them return that evening, which means the night, and let them make a noise like a dog and go around about the city. Let them wander up and down for meat and grudge that they be not satisfied. So who's returning to come after us in this lifetime? It would be Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So we gonna get this in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 70. Because again, Psalm 59:14, let them return that evening, let them make a noise like a dog and go around about the city. Saying what will be that great city today, America. So they're gonna go around about America trying to hunt us down. And that's why I say this, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And that would be the 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. And he said in every place, in every city. And just so happened, the information is out that Esau gonna come down on us in the middle of the night, in the middle of a blackout, middle of a cyber attack. So again, a blackout and a cyber attack is likened to the night. Hey, because nothing is up and running. Hey, Shalom to the Malak, Yahweh, the brother Hope, Grace, and Mercy, daughter Yahweh, brother Kabag Shana, and hey, the brother Nathan, hey, Shadow of Thy Wings. Hey, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shada, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Yeah, the brother Kalab, this phone wicked, man. It just be jumping sideways on me. I think I gotta play with the auto rotation and try to lock it in position. But yeah, it's gonna be every place in the next cities and great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And then when we get this, we gonna go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 21. Ezekiel 21. Because that great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, every place, every city. When Psalm 59:14, it says, you know, let them return that evening, make a noise like a dog, go around about the city. You know, what's going to be the purpose of this great insurrection? It's going to be to exterminate Israel by the force of the sword. So this is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 9. It says, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus says the Lord, and say, a sword is sharpened, a sword is furbished. How do they sharpen a sword? By sharpening their technology. That's why Esau got a phrase, cutting edge technology. That's them sharpening their sword. Upgrading their nuclear capabilities. Upping their night vision. You know, making bullets and missiles that can track you. Mechanical dogs, killer drones. That's them sharpening their sword, or in other words, that cutting edge technology. So again, say a sword is sharpened, a sword is furbished. It is sharpened to make a sword slaughter. And so Esau is upgrading his technology not for the purpose of benefiting the people, but for the purpose of eliminating the 12 tribes. It is sharpened to make a sword slaughter. It is furbished that it make glitter. Should we then make mirth? And so should you be living it up, not having to care in the world when Esau is sharpening his sword? It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished that it may be handled. So Esau is not sharpening the sword for no reason. He's not making all these upgrades in his weaponry for no reason. And it said because he give it to be furbished that it may be handled. So they making it to use it. Who you think they're gonna use it against? And he have given it to be furbished that it may be handled. And this sword is sharpened and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. And who's the sword? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And everybody that's confederate with him and cutting off Israel. Now, when we jump down here to verse 14, therefore, son of man, prophesy and smite thy hands together, and let the sword be doubled the third time. The sword of the slain, it is the sword of the great men that are slain, which entereth into their privy chambers. So it said, let the sword be doubled the third time. So what? Hey, when they came as the Greeks, there was a great slaughter constantly on Israel. As the Romans, it was constantly a great slaughter on Israel. But what it say? That the sword, the slaughter, is going to be doubled the third time. And the third time is not. Which is going to cut off 2/3 of the nation of Israel. But that's why David said in Psalm 59:14, in that evening, let them return. No, this ain't the house of Saul and his servants returning in this lifetime. Hey, this is Esau, Edom coming back. Hey, this is the Greeks and the Romans coming back. That ancient spirit that was on the Greeks and the Romans and the slave masters, and them spirits back in the earth. You know, to double the sword a third time. And this is going to be the last great slaughter against the house of Israel by Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He going to get over on 2/3 of our people. So we're going to get this also. And that's why when we come back to the book of 2nd Ezra, I'm going to get 70 again, then we're going to jump to 71. For this will be in every place and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. In other words, a great slaughter. The sword will be doubled. They shall be like madmen sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So it's going to be no mercy on the 12 tribes. And Esau Edom, the white man, going to use every weapon he got. They got direct energy weapons. They got satellite weapons that can shoot down here to the earth. They got microwave weapons. And then they done weaponized the food. So yeah, there's no mercy. But back to Psalm 14, then we go jump to 15. In that evening, let them return. We know Esau Edom, the white man, went to roll on us in the middle of the night, in the middle of a blackout, the middle of a cyber attack. Again, when communications ain't working, the internet not working, gas pumps are not working, pretty much when we just sitting ducks. That's in the scriptures too, that Esau want to get us when we sitting ducks. But that's why it says let them return that evening. Let me get that real quick. Hey, this is 2nd Ezra 16, I think 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. All right, we're going to read that part again. They shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle. What's you being idle? That's a lockdown. That's a blackout. That's a cyber attack. When everybody pretty much is sitting duck because ain't nothing working. So they going to take the people away being idle. And what? That's why it says, let them return that evening. You saw them come during the blackout, during the cyber attack, middle of a lockdown, in the middle of the night, when the people are idle, meaning not moving. Why? Because he a cunning hunter. Long as on the prey on the move, for the most part, the hunter not gonna catch his prey. But verse 15, it says, let them wander up and down for meat. And what that meat represent, that represent blood. Esau trying to catch bodies. He gonna get the bodies of the 2/3 of our people. It says, and grudge that they be not satisfied. Because we know what? That Esau not gonna be satisfied with blood. So we gonna get that real quick. You know, Esau gonna go on a great slaughter, but even that's not gonna satisfy him. That's why you get Ecclesiastes 12:16 says the enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. That's why he gonna come having no mercy. No matter how many of us he killed, he's not gonna be satisfied. He's not gonna be satisfied with just getting the 2/3. He wanna come after the saints. What the Lord say, touch not my prophets and do my anointed no harm. So yeah, they're not gonna be satisfied with blood. They're gonna try to take it all the way. And we're gonna get this. This is Psalms 59:16-17. But I will sing of thy power, yeah, I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning. For thou hast been my defense and refuge in the day of my trouble. And so the Lord was the defense and the refuge for David in the days of David. But guess what? You know, when David say, you know, a defense of my refuge for my day of trouble, and he not speaking for himself, and he's speaking for the whole house of David, you know, right here, right now. Because the Lord going to be a defense and a refuge to the elect, which will be the house of David. It says, unto thee, O my strength, will I sing. Hey, for God is my defense and the God of my mercy. See, the God of my mercy. Who would that be? Israel. In this lifetime, it would be the house of David, the elect. So, back to Psalms 59:16. But I will sing of thy power. I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning. For thou hast been my defense and my refuge in the day of my trouble. What's that day of trouble? Hey, that's the day of Jacob's trouble. Which Jacob's trouble not going to just be a day. Jacob's trouble is a time period, which we in it right now. But we know what? There's going to be greater evils. And even right now, and in these greater evils, the Lord's going to be our defense and our refuge. We going to get that. Because again, David said, my trouble. And who is he? Jacob, Israel, the sons of Jacob. And this is Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. And what David say? He's my defense and my refuge in the day of my trouble, in the day of trouble for Israel. It says, well, but he, Jacob, should be saved out of it. And that would be the elect. You know, the house of David, he's going to be saved out of it. Then we read verse 17 again. It says, unto thee, O my strength, will I sing. And for God is my defense and the God of my mercy. So how is the Lord our defense and our strength? It begins right now by this word. Because when we come to the book of Isaiah 33:6, it say, in wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. It says what? And the strength of our salvation. What David say, Psalms 59:17, unto thee, O my strength. You know, a Christian to say, the Lord is my strength, but they don't make use of none of the tools that the Lord gave them. And what tools did the Lord give us? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So by this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, is the Lord our defense and the Lord our strength. And wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So the Lord is our strength by this word. The Lord is our defense by this word. But even more, the Lord gonna send that help from heaven. Yeah, the Lord gonna send that help from heaven. And we gonna get this in the book of Ecclesiasticus 51:11. And say this, I will praise thy name continually. I will sing praise with thanksgiving. And so my prayer was heard. For thou savest me from destruction and deliverest me from the evil time of Jacob's trouble. Therefore I will give thanks and praise thee and bless thy name, O Lord. But what it say? I will praise thy name continually and sing praises with thanksgiving. And we praising the Lord right now, before the troubles. Why? Because we believe the report. And we believe if we do our part, you know, to work out our salvation with fear and trembling, and we believe we're going to get saved from the evil time and saved from the destruction. So we singing praises to the Lord right now. Because again, David says, Psalm 59:16, I will sing aloud of thy mercy. And we singing aloud of the Lord's mercy right now. We telling the people what the Lord is going to do for his elect before he does it. And then the Lord going to set us up over our enemies. That's the Lord's mercy. And that sing don't mean you singing and dancing up in church. Because when you come to the book of Psalms, chapter 47, verse 7, it say this. Hey, for God is king of all of the earth. Sing ye praises with understanding. So singing praises with understanding, meaning we declaring the works of the Lord among our people and among the heathen. In other words, to prophesy. And we're going to get this from the brother Kalab, Isaiah 60 and 14. Isaiah 60 and 14, it say this. We're going to take that into verse 15. The sons of them that afflicted thee shall come bending the knee. And all they despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. They shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So all the nations that oppressed us, all of them that afflicted us, all of them that hated us, they gonna come bowing. But that goes back to Isaiah 47 and 1 that we got earlier. Hey, when it say, come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, there is no throne. Meaning they're gonna be bowing down at the soles of our feet. You know, all nations, but the Lord mentioned the virgin daughter of Babylon. And because this is the place of our captivity. And I'm gonna jump here real quick. I think Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not. You know, not just them, but all nations. And are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. But that's why it says, you know, come down, virgin daughter of Babylon, and sit on the ground. That represents them bowing before our feet. Goes back to Psalm 59 and 11. Really, I'm going to hit verse 10. It said, the God of my mercy shall prevent me. God shall let me see my desire upon my enemies. And then we know what? The patience and the faith of the saints is for those who killed us with the sword, they be killed with the sword. Those who led us into captivity, they be led into captivity. So the Lord's not going to completely eliminate the heathen nations off the face of the earth. No, he's going to bring them low. He's going to bring them low in number. I mean, he's going to kill the majority of them to bring them low in number, but he's going to bring them to that low place. And what's that low place? That's going to be in slavery under our feet. But go on to verse 11, it says, slay them not, lest my people forget. Scatter them by thy power and bring them down low. So the Lord not going to completely kill off the heathen, he's just going to bring them down low. You know, that they come bending the knee. And then back to Obadiah 1 and 16, when the Lord said, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink and they shall swallow down. You know, that's another way of saying all of the nations benefited from our oppression. And it said all nations will drink of that cup. It says, and they shall be as though they had not been. So one day they're going to be oppressing us, ruling over us. The next day, they're going to come bending the knee. You know, after the destruction, they're going to come bending the knee. Now we're going to go back to that. Isaiah 60 and 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending the knee. And all they despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. They come down and sit in the dust. Not just the virgin daughter of Babylon. Not just Esau, you know, the white man, but all nations. They shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion, the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee in eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. So in the Lord's fury, he scattered us among the nations. So what the mercy of the Lord gonna be like? So in his fury, He made us bow to the nations, but in the Lord's favor and in his mercy, he gonna make the nations bow down to us. But that's why David said, you know, Psalm 59:17, unto thee, O my strength, will I sing, and for God is my defense, and the God of my mercy. So in the Lord's mercy, he gonna set us up over our enemies. And the Lord's fury and his wrath, the Lord's fury and the Lord's mercy, they work opposite of each other. Because again, in his fury, we was oppressed, the nations ruling over us, but in his mercy, we're gonna rule over the nations. And that's why we, you know, sing aloud and sing praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua right now. You know, by speaking on his works and prophesying and giving them the glory right now. Really because we believe the report. Hey, but that's a wrap for Psalms 59, aka Wisdom of David, number 59, part 2. Let's give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders, taught us the truth by the Holy Spirit. Honors to the brothers, risking their life and freedom to push the gospel. Peace and blessings, and to the elect. Till next time, Shalom.